So we have already been talking about how to solve for the hypotenuse when we don't know C's value. In this video, we're going to specifically focus in on how to solve for a missing leg. So I'm either missing A or B, and in reality, it really doesn't matter which one we're labeling. All right, so let's take a look at this first example. So I have a right triangle, and again, I know it's a right triangle because there's a square in the corner of it. I have a length that is 12 and I have a length that is 15. So the first thing that I have to realize is what component is actually missing. Well, please keep in mind that the length that is across from the right angle always has to be C, which means this 12 is either my A or my B value. Now for me, when I'm filling in my formula, I like to fill in the A value. It makes me feel better to have a number there. However, you can actually plug in for whichever you prefer. So I'm going to start off again with my Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to fill in the one leg that I know. So I know 12 squared. I don't know the other leg, so he's going to stay a variable. And I know that my C squared is 15. Okay. Now, please understand when doing this, we're still solving. We're still doing what we need to do. Okay. Now, if I was solving this equation, I'm going to do 12 squared, and I would find that 12 times 12 is 144. I still don't know what my B is, so he stays B squared. And then I do 15 times 15, which is my 225. Notice anything I square becomes its perfect number. So now I am solving this equation, and notice that I have to get B by itself. My 144 is in the way, so I got to get rid of this plus 144. So I'm going to subtract 144 from both sides. So my B value when he is squared is whatever 225 minus 144 is. So I have to pick up my calculator if I can't do this math myself. 225 minus 144, and I'm going to see that my B squared is 81. Now, just like with solving for the hypotenuse, to get that variable by itself, I am going to take the square root of that answer. So the square root of 81, B's value, has to be 9. So this other side length is 9. Now I want you to take note, every single time we solve for the leg, it is always these same steps. It's my C squared minus the A squared. It is always my hypotenuse squared minus my leg squared. And then I take the square root of that answer. Hypotenuse squared minus leg squared, take the square root, and that is my answer. And I'm going to maybe put that in a little bubble here. All right, my hypotenuse squared minus my leg squared, and then I take the square root of that answer. All right, so that's kind of a little thought bubble because that will always be my process when solving for the leg. All right, so let's take a look at another example. Actually, if you need more time writing this, please pause. All right, otherwise, let's take a look at the next example. And we're going to do this one again together. All right, we have that A is 40 and C is 41. So you'll see here that they give me what letter to use. All right, so I'm going to start off with my Pythagorean theorem. A is 40, so we have 40 squared plus my unknown B value, and that is going to equal, my C squared, which is 41 squared. Okay. Now, if I just have my calculator, I can do my hypotenuse. I can do my 41 squared minus my leg, which is 40 squared, in one big step. However, if you still want to show work, feel free. So 41 squared is 1681. 40 squared, that's 1600. Plus B squared. I subtract, and this is why you can take that hypotenuse squared and subtract the leg from it, because we produce B squared equaling 81. And just like the previous example, I then take the square root of that answer. So B, once again, has to be 9. So in order for me to be a right triangle, I have to be 9, 40, 41. Okay. All right, so I have 2 for you to try on your own. All right, give these 2 a go. I have a right triangle where I have 8 and 14, and I have a right triangle where B is 21 and C is 29. What values do you get? All right, let's see if we got it. All right, so we have 8 squared plus B squared equals 14 squared. I'm going to pick up my calculator and I'm going to do 14 squared, so my hypotenuse squared, minus my leg squared. So I get that B squared equals 132. I'm going to take this answer, square root of that answer, and ooh, he's not perfect. So B has to be the square root of 132. All right, so it's about 11, which makes sense. It makes sense that this would be 11.5-ish, all right, and it would fit our scenario, but we want to record our answer as that one. All right, here we have A squared plus 21 squared equals 29 squared. Again, I'm going to do hypotenuse minus, so I'm going to do 29 squared minus 21 squared, and I get that A squared equals 400. I'm going to now take the square root of that answer, and I get that A equaled 20. Okay. So now knowing this information, we're going to be able to solve for any missing part of the triangle, now either solving for the hypotenuse or, in this video, the leg.